folks, it's Crystalline. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about ways to increase the humidity in your home. We're going to be talking about increasing humidity, and we're going to talk about permanent solutions for increasing humidity, temporary solutions for increasing humidity, options for increasing the humidity in the entire room versus increasing the humidity just for the single plant that you're talking about. If that sounds like something interesting, stay tuned for the rest. And if you aren't already, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I am doing Plantmas, so I am posting videos every single day, so you don't want to miss any of those. And if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. So let's get started talking about humidity. So I'm going to be featuring a lot of IKEA solutions for increasing humidity because, as you all know, I love IKEA. So I want to talk about some permanent solutions for increasing humidity first. So the first one I want to talk about is this glass box that I got at IKEA. It is not completely sealed, so it does not get the humidity super high, but it is good for increasing the humidity for a single plant or multiple smaller plants if that is something that you are looking for. I currently have one of my Micans propagations in here because just to test it out and see what it does in higher humidity. But I really do like this because it is decorative. It protects whatever plant is in here from my cats, so I can put this wherever I want and not have to worry about it being a cat-safe plant or them damaging the plant, even if it is a cat-safe plant. I like that it has a latch, so it stays closed. And it's cute and decorative. The one thing I don't like is that since it is all glass, it does get fingerprints kind of easily, but easy to just Windex off or wipe off however you clean your glass. But the nice thing about it being glass is that it does allow light in to the plant still, so you don't have to worry about adding any artificial lighting for this plant because it is still getting about the same amount of light that it would get just sitting in a room. First option is this glass box from IKEA. I will link all of the IKEA products down below so that you can check them out for yourself. Option number one. Option number two is pretty similar. It is this glass cloche from IKEA. So this is, again, another good solution for one plant. I have my Calathea White Fusion in here. It is not doing super well, but that's okay because it's winter time. So I wanted to put it in the cloche to give it more humidity. The one thing I don't like about this is it only really works for smaller plants. So plants in a 4-inch pot or below, and even plants in a 4-inch pot, you have to make sure that it's not like touching the sides of the glass because you can run into fungal issues. But this is nice because it is pretty airtight. I don't know if you can see the condensation on the glass at all, but it does get very high humidity in here. You will have to take the top off and air it out every once in a while. Also an IKEA product. The third and final IKEA product that I want to talk about is the IKEA Soccer Miniature Greenhouse. If you watched my terrarium building video, you will see that I turned one of these into a terrarium, but this is a great way to increase humidity for multiple plants. It opens on the top, so you can reach down and grab the plants. I have some Hoya in here because although Hoya do not like to be watered, they do like humidity. And I have this little jar of water sitting on the side just to put some more water into the air because I don't have a ton of plants in here right now. But I really like this option because it is good for multiple plants. It's portable, you can move it wherever, and it's not airtight, so it's not like the cloche that I just showed you where you have to air it out, because enough airflow does come through like the cracks in the sides. And yeah, IKEA Soccer. So now I want to talk about more temporary solutions and things that are good for increasing humidity for if you are propagating a plant or just trying to rehab a plant. So I am trying to rehab this watermelon peperomia. So I have it in this bag. It's just a Ziploc freezer bag, and I have the plant in sphagnum moss, and so I just sit the plant into the bag and then I close it most of the way until there is a little hole left, and then I blow some air in. so that there is air for the plant. And there you have it. I have this sitting in my grow tent as well to increase the humidity. We'll talk about the grow tent in a minute. That is great for, you could put that on a windowsill, you could put it wherever you would normally keep a plant, except extra humidity around it. But it's obviously not very pretty, not very aesthetically pleasing, so not really a permanent solution. So good for propagations or rehab. Another option that is good for propagating are takeout containers. So since takeout containers like this have clear lids, it lets air in. And so in here I just have some, again, like I said, I was trying to rehab the watermelon peperomia, so I cut off a bunch of pieces. I just have them in here like that. The bed is sphagnum moss, and this has little holes at the top. So similar to the Kia Soccer, there is air that goes in and out. However, I do still open and close this once a day or every other day, just to make sure that there's fresh air and that the plants are getting enough oxygen and we are not worrying about fungal growth. So great way to reuse your takeout containers. And this one is similar, except it is completely clear. I have in here my melanochrysum node that I am growing, as well as a Hoya globulosa. Again, same thing, just sphagnum moss with the lid on. I usually don't close it completely because this one does not have any holes in it, so I don't want to risk any fungal issues. And yeah, I keep that in my grow tent. I keep all of the propagations in my grow tent as well, just for light and humidity purposes. So if you don't have any to-go containers, but you do have some old sandwich containers or lunch containers or whatever you want to call them, you can do something similar. So this plant, or this container, luckily has a vent at the top, so I have it open, but I also air this one out by taking the lid off and leaving it off for a little bit and letting air get in. That way I can also check to see if the moss is still wet and if it needs a little spritz of water. So the solution I want to talk about, I don't currently have any plants in here. I'm not doing this for humidity purposes. I'm doing this more for storage purposes, but this is just a Sterilite tote. I think it's probably somewhere around like 50 quarts, 50 or 60 quarts. I don't know if it's labeled anywhere. I don't think it is. I'm currently storing my soil in here, but you can see that it does get some condensation on the sides, which I'm not trying to keep the soil moist. I don't want any fungal growth to happen, so I do air this out pretty frequently, but I use it pretty quickly, so it's not really sitting in there. But it is nice to have my soil in a sealed container. What I want to talk about this for is this would be really good to make a propagation box out of. You could put a bed of sphagnum moss on the bottom, and then that way, if you had any taller plants that needed to stand up a little, and also this has more air, obviously more room for air, and less risk of fungal growth. So I am going to get some more of these to do propagations in, so I will make a video about those. But yeah, this is a good idea. If you have any storage totes from moving, or if you've recently cleaned out your closet and freed up a storage tote, great for increasing humidity around your plants. You can also use this just to like set plants in their pots in, and then put the lid on, and it would work similarly to a cloche or the other things that I've been talking about. Great way to increase humidity. Another solution is glass jars. I got this at Goodwill, and this would work very similarly to this IKEA cloche, although it's not developed for that reason. So the lid is at the top. You could store it upside down. If you had a small pot that you could fit on this, then you could take this and put it on top, and then you could just carefully take this off, and there you go, a thrifted cloche. I got this for $5 at Goodwill. So thrifty solutions. Two other options for increasing humidity for plants: humidifiers. I think that is the most obvious solution, but that will increase the humidity in a full room or a specific area wherever you have it. So that is good. You can get a humidifier at like Walmart. They have like Vicks humidifiers, like Walmart, Target, CVS even, or there are the fancier Alec Homes and Lavoit humidifiers that you can get online. So here is my humidifier. It is just a Vicks humidifier that I got at Walmart. And this is a cool mist humidifier. I recommend cool mist humidifiers because you can use them year round. You don't have to worry about it giving off warm mist. And honestly, I think they're more efficient and they use less electricity. Finally, an option is a Pebble Tray. So if you take a tray, I don't have my tray sitting next to me right now, so we're gonna take the lid off of my soil. So if you take a tray or something that you can set plants on and put pebbles or perlite or something on the bottom, and then you set the plants in their pots on the rocks and then fill the tray with water. This is a good solution for increasing humidity because it allows the water to evaporate around the plants, so you're creating like a little microclimate around your plants. Make sure that the plant is not sitting directly in the water. That's why you need the pebbles, because you will experience root rot if your plant is constantly sitting in water. One other option for creating a microclimate is to group your plants together. So if you're looking for a temporary solution for raising humidity, for example, if you're going to be going out of town and you won't be able to run your humidifier or however else you normally keep the humidity up in your space, you can go ahead and group your plants together, because as they give off water through their respiration process, there will be more humidity in the air. I'm also going to put in a clip of my greenhouse tent. Okay, so once again, we are at my grow tent. This is one of my favorite ways to increase humidity. I have my grow light in there, and I also have a fan for air circulation. It's not on because I didn't want it to make as much noise. But you can see that if I don't have the fan on, I get condensation on the side of the grow tent, which means that the humidity is super high in there. That is a good thing because that's what I want. But I also have ran into some issues with plants touching the condensation and getting some fungal growth. So you do want to make sure that your plants aren't touching the sides so that they're not sitting against any possible condensation. And you also want to make sure that you have a fan to circulate the air. You can see my propagation boxes in there as well. Let's just do it. So this is not like a fancy grow tent or anything. It is not airtight or anything. It just has these zippers on either side. And then the flap comes up and you can roll it and tie it as well. But I usually just flip it over the top. So this is another good thing to do. If you have a grow tent, you will want to make sure that you air it out every once in a while, even if you have a fan going in there. What I've noticed with this fan is that because it's so close to the plants that are in here dry out really quickly. So I am struggling a little bit with keeping the plants wet, but also keeping airflow going. So there's my propagation boxes. Sometimes I will put bowls of water in here, but since I'm not currently running the fan, I don't want to have any excess humidity past what is already getting put off by the plants. So yeah, that's my grow tent. The one solution that is not great for raising humidity is misting. Misting does not actually increase the humidity of the plant unless you are misting it and letting the water kind of pool on the leaves and then it's evaporating. But again, still a temporary solution. Humidity is only humidity when it's in the air, not when it's actually on the plant. If it's on the plant, then you are just inviting opportunities for fungal growth. That's not what you want to do. You want to create humidity for your plants, not the right conditions for fungal growth. Some things to remember: if you are using a humidifier, you don't want the humidity in your space to be too high too consistently. I live in Atlanta, so the relative humidity in my apartment is generally pretty high anyway. Also, get yourself a hydrometer so you can measure the humidity, so you know what the humidity is like in your space. Sorry, this was really a scattered video. Those are my tips for increasing humidity. So that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something about ways to increase humidity for your plants. Hi folks, it's Crystalline. Apparently I forgot to film the rest of my outro, so this is what you're getting. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about how to increase humidity in your space, please let me know. If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so now. Stay tuned for the rest of Plant Miss. Thanks everyone.